Howdy, howdy, howdy. Hello, Hoopers. This is Shay Rippinger here of Hip the Hoopla, and welcome to the Hoop Love Y'all show. And I am your host, Shay Rippinger of Hip the Hoopla. And what is the Hoop Love Y'all show, you ask? It is health, humor, and hooping. So we have hoops in the background, and we try and cover some health issues, just happy wellness state. I like things to be in a nice positive way and all that kind of good stuff. And humor because I've been a long time humorist, and hooping because I'm a hooper. So circus arts, flow arts, all that kind of good stuff. So let's get started. Tonight's theme is called Rising. Well, it's not, it's called Rising. Tonight's theme is Rising. So a couple of things to note. Hopefully I won't cry on this part, but I just wanted to give you guys an update and why I picked out this theme tonight. And thank you very much for watching too. Oh, also, if you are watching on the Facebook page, on the Hip the Hoopla Facebook page, great. You can comment live and I will answer your questions live or try and comment live on the video here. If you're watching the recording, thank you very much. And also on YouTube, I don't see the comments coming through over there because I just have the Facebook live feed up. So there's only so much technology I can handle at one time, so we have a two-camera operation. And when I say we, I mean me. And then I have some like little pet cameos here. So I have treats, so I can coax a pet cameo. Right, Shiva? Can I coax a pet cameo? Shiva, you want a treat? Come here. She's like, no, I'm laying down. Can you hear chewing in the background? That's her just getting a treat just for doing nothing, just for laying down. If you want another treat, you can come up. Yes. So we do like some cute pet cameos in here because it's fun, and you know that's part of the humor part, right? Can you come up live? Because you're gonna have to move anyway when I start hooping. High five. High five. So I've taught her the laziest high five. So you might see this in the camera. And that's her laying down and doing a high five like that. You know, like, hey, yeah, give me the treat. So anyway, she's a good girl. She's a big girl. She was supposed to be a little puppy, or a little dog, and then she became a bigger dog. So she's a medium-sized dog. What are you, about maybe 70-ish pounds, 75 pounds, somewhere right around there. Anyway, she's a cool dog. Okay, on the note that I promised you, I wanted to give you a health update and a couple of health updates. So this is where it gets, like, I'm going to try and keep some stuff lighthearted, but, you know, also, you know, keep it real because that's what I do. So, yeah, if you notice, I only have, we're down to one puppy right now. Well, and I say puppy dog. Shiva is here. Caly, unfortunately, had so many medical issues and they were getting so bad, and we had to put her down on Friday. This is where I lose it. Anyway, I have this little thing, and it's not for lack of trying, for trying to care for her. She became special needs, and she basically had gone blind. She was only 2 years old, and sweet little thing. Let's see here. Do I have a picture of her? I'm sure I do. I'll try and find a picture while I'm doing this. And yeah. Anyway, so she apparently, interestingly enough, with blue-eyed dogs, there's like a Merle gene or something like that, and anyway, it can cause blindness. And so she was basically going blind, and she had fallen down the stairs, and she was never the same since. Like, it's like she had neurological issues after that. So, you know, at first she just couldn't see, and then she had like behavioral, and I wouldn't even call them behavioral. It was almost like a form of autism, but I don't know if doggies can have autism, but basically she had good days and bad days of like where she was with it and totally days that she was out of it. It was like a combination of autism, dementia, Alzheimer. It was just a very odd thing, and it got progressively worse. And we brought her to the vet. They wanted us to take her to like a lot of specialists and stuff like that, and just, you know, throw darts at the, you know, the wall to see, you know, what could be up with her. And I just, bringing her into the vet that one time was so traumatic for her, and because of her vision, she would back up into things, and she was actually backing up into dangerous situations. So she would get stuck in places, in crevices. It's kind of like we had to childproof the house, but for a little dog. So anyway, but then it became bad where she actually started having seizures and stuff. So, but we tried CBD oil. I actually tried Rescue Remedy, which is a homeopathic. I didn't really want to put her on a whole bunch of drugs because the drugs have a lot of side effects and cause other problems, and she already had a multitude of problems. So I was trying to make her better, not worse, by combining drug side effects. So, obviously I worked with her a lot. I take care of a couple of other dogs as a puppy nanny. So, I thought, well, maybe I need to get retrained or I need to retrain her. So I did work on that with behavioral stuff, and I just guided her around, and Shiva here actually became her guide companion dog. So she would care for her, and Caly would sleep and lay right next to her and stuff like that. But even Caly would started like just going off on her own and just being. She needed to be in quiet, and noises scared her, just frightened her to wit's end. And it could be not a big noise either, but anyway, it scared her. And so she, I was up with her like all Thursday night, and there were several nights that I was up with her a lot during the night, and in a couple of nights that I was up with her all night long, because she just couldn't lay down, like literally, and the poor little thing just exhausted herself. Her little body just couldn't handle it anymore, and she basically went into a seizure mode, and we just had to bring her into the vet. And that I had read a lot about euthanasia, of like when's the right time. And interestingly enough, a vet had said, I would rather have somebody say a week too early than an hour too late. And, when we brought her in, I was going to have a mobile vet come to the house so that she didn't have to have the stress of going to the vet, but we couldn't actually schedule a mobile vet in. And they were highly expensive, but the expense wasn't the issue. I was going to pay the difference of the money, but it was a matter of just being able to schedule. Apparently Friday, a lot of people in town were putting their pets down. So unfortunately, that's we live in an area here that almost everybody has a dog or two, and I mean the life cycle is such that there are things that come up, health reasons, and old age. Hopefully if you ever have to do that, you have to put a pet down. It's for old age and not for health. Other like a 2-year-old dog that we had. So anyway, so what I'm wearing is one of the things that I had gotten for her. It's a little clip, and I just clipped this onto this necklace, which has other beads on it, but it's a little amethyst bead. And so this amethyst bead, I had gotten this for her, and I had also gotten her a thunder shirt too. So I highly recommend thunder shirts if you have a pet that has anxiety, whether it be separation anxiety or loud noises, going to the vet for some pets is very stressful. So I highly recommend it. It really did help quite a bit. It's been really hot here during the summer months, so thank you everybody for joining me. Send me hearts and all that kind of good stuff. So anyway, the thunder shirt worked for a little bit. Everything I tried worked a little bit. Interestingly enough, the CBD oils, which we were using little drops of like 500 milligrams of the CBD oil, which is non-psychoactive cannabis oil, they weren't as helpful as I thought they would be for her. But again, she had so many neurological issues, our little puppy Caly, that it was almost beyond the scope, and it was just a matter of time before the things got so bad, so worse, and it did come to that. So anyway, thank you, Jennifer. So yeah, okay, deep breath. Okay, we're gonna do some laughter yoga coming up for the humor part, because I do like to keep the show upbeat, and also I've got a funny death story too. So stay tuned for that. I'm laughing at it now. It's not about the dog. So it's kind of, anyway. Okay, I'll tell it now because I already brought it up. So and again, this show is about health, humor, and hooping. So this story is about like when my grandfather passed away. So my mom, her father was like near and dear to her, you know, her best friend and all that kind of good stuff. So when we went back to do all of the funeral arrangements and stuff like that, he had passed and we weren't there. We couldn't be there for that. You know, and you never know when somebody's going to die. So anyway, he had been bad for like really 6 months and went downhill, like just downhill. Anyway, when he passed, we went back out to Illinois, so from Colorado, and we took a road trip, and we brought our Indian rattles, so we look like crazy nutty people because we were going through Chicago, which is kind of nice and conservative and all that kind of stuff, not a lot of woo-woo stuff, and we're bringing our Indian rattles and rattling our, doing that. We had the windows down and our arms hanging out, and yeah, it's pretty funny. But when we got there, I knew that my mom, this was going to be a big effect on her heart. And I knew if she broke down, she would not get back up again. And we had a lot to deal with in a short amount of time because we could only go out there and deal with this stuff, like close, you know, gathering their entire house contents of my grandma and grandpa. And my grandmother had already passed. And also my great aunt's house. We ended up moving. I think we moved out everything at one time on a moving truck, and we took like a quarter of a semi truck and 10 grand. And turns out it's cheaper to move now, but it was 10 grand back then to move the contents of a household, and or household or two, and most of it ended up coming up to my house. But anyway, when we were there. We had to deal with funeral arrangements. Now, not the lightest, most bubbly, fun topic to talk about, right? But I told my mom on the way there, I said, listen, I'm going to bring humor to this because that's what I do. I am a humorist. I have been a humorist for a long time. I was a cartoonist for 20 plus years, professional cartoonist, and I wrote a professional humor column for the Denver Post called Dating and Hand Grenades, and I wrote my Touche cartoons for a long time, so you can find those online if you wanted to check those out. But a long time ago, a whole separate careers ago. But basically, one of my coping mechanisms is humor. So sometimes to avoid sadness or to be able to get through things, sometimes I will tell bad jokes. And I warned my mom, I said, listen, I'm just going to go, I'll tell bad jokes, and they might be really bad. But it's just to keep you on track and, and just to, so that not that we had a good time through the funeral, but that it wasn't so, like we went down and didn't come back up again. And I was really worried about my mom doing that. So anyway, so, so we go down and we're picking out coffins. So, like now we would like to be cremated and stuff like that. My mom did get cremated after she had passed. And so because those were her wishes, I'd like to get cremated and fertilize something pretty and growing and all that kind of good stuff. But anyway, but my grandfather was not of that same type of thing. So him and my grandmother actually had pre-bought burial plots. And so, me and my mom are supposed to go there too. My mom is not there. She's in my kitchen cupboard, actually. She's in the, so again, humor. I didn't know what to do with the ashes. Actually, I do know what to do with the ashes. I just didn't want to part with them just yet. So at some point, there will be a time where I do that. But anyway, the time hasn't come just yet. So they're not taking up a great deal of space, and it's not hurting anything. And the dust, so one of the funny things is I think the box of ashes actually has a layer of dust on it. So to me, that's really funny. So it's funny, and again, my humor may be a little off-putting to some, and I apologize if I'm offending anybody. Oh, thank you. Marcy Goodfellow just said, you are a gift. Thank you, Marcy. Oh, wait, okay, so I just saw a comment come in on YouTube. Thank you, Marcy, for commenting on YouTube Live. So now I know that I can see on one of the cameras that that's coming in live. So I can read the Facebook and see, you learn something new every day about the technology. Okay, back to the story. So I digressed. But thank you very much for checking in. So I learned something new on that. Okay, so we're going to pick out coffins for my grandfather's funeral to put my grandfather in the box and all that kind of good stuff. So these things, we went to the nearest one. This little place was around the corner from his house, and it was such an old school funeral home. They used to call them funeral parlors. But funeral home that did the services and all that kind of stuff, that it used to have a lawn jockey out front. And if you don't think that's racist, what they did is, it used to be a black lawn jockey. So that was back in the day where, people did racist stuff and didn't think much of it. And they ended up painting the little lawn jockey white. So anyway, like that made it any better. Anyway, they should have just probably moved it. But anyways, I guess it's a piece of history. Interesting little side note. So we go downstairs to the coffin showroom, and we're presented with all these levels of pricing. And just FYI, funerals are really expensive if you go, especially if you go the route of getting buried. So where they embalm your body. And by the way, here's a health note too. If you do aspartame, so if you do a diet drink, as my husband likes to say, die is right in the word of diet. But if you do the sugar-free drinks that have aspartame in it, you are embalming yourself. So because the aspartame turns into that type of stuff in your body. He knows the chemical composition stuff of it. He's done the research on it and stuff like that. I'm just telling you this little side note fact. So anyway, you won't need embalming fluid because you'll already be there after you pass. So there's that. So I guess that'll be the upslope of the diet drinks. But if you don't drink the diet drinks, you might not die so quickly. So anyway, again, that's a health note. That's a personal call, and that is an actual thing out there that, just eat and drink real stuff. So drink your water, flush out the toxins and all that stuff. Don't drink your toxins. But anyway, a soapbox. So anyway, we're down in the coffin showroom, and we're looking at stuff, and very expensive, and when you really look at this logically, they're really taking advantage of you at your weakest moment, because you have just lost a loved one, and you don't want to get cheap at that moment. You don't want to look cheap, you don't want to be cheap, whatever. But it's expensive. It's like in the thousands of dollars, right? So, and in Illinois, I don't know if this is in other states, but in the Illinois, you had to have a liner that goes into the ground first. So that was $700 to start with, just the liner. This isn't even before the coffin. You have to have the liner that goes in. Now, why? I don't quite know, because, well, maybe because you've been embalmed and you've been shot up with chemicals and they don't want you seeping into the soil, which is going to happen anyway. And if you've ever seen pictures of a disaster like a flood, and you've seen coffins rise up out of cemeteries and float down the thing, I have seen this in my lifetime, the aerial views. So, yeah, I would rather get cremated, have my ashes go, like fertilize a tree, a plant, a flower, food, whatever. Something useful. As opposed to having my coffin float down the river somewhere and contaminate things and do all kinds of bad stuff. But again, that's a personal opinion. You call your own shots. Yeah, but we were trying to be respectful of my grandfather, so we were looking at the coffin. So I come, they have these expensive models, these Mac Daddy ones, and it's like, this thing's going in the ground, like, no offense, but who cares, unless you're out for a show for your family or whatever. He didn't have any family left. He had me and my mom, and that was it for family. He had outlived everybody else. There were no pallbearers that were of his age. They were all young. They were all my friends from college. And the guy also handed me a pair of gloves too. Like, you want to be, like, you're a pallbearer. And I'm like, no, this is my grandfather's funeral. You figure it out, dude. We hired you. So I handed the gloves back to him. It's like, dude. Again, one of my bits of humor in this whole process of my grandfather passing, but which was a long time ago. But anyway, so we're down there looking, and so I go up to this one thing. So they kind of have these models priced along the way, and they're made with really cheap. Okay, I'm just gonna say it, cheap ass stuff. So these, the quality of the materials that they use for building, maybe because they're putting them in the ground or whatever, but they're just really lame. You know, I'm looking at the sewing on the pillows, and it's just awful. It's not like good satin or anything like that. Maybe for some people they kind of like that. Okay, so that was the sound of me tapping on this metal lamp next to me. So it's basically like filing cabinet material. I kid you not, it was really bad. So I knock on this, and I'm like, and my mom's like, what? And I said, and this is again where my bad humor comes up. And I said, because we had actually decided on this one because it was the cheapest, and we were trying not to do like thousands and thousands of dollars for this funeral, because we also had to move stuff. We had a lot of expenses that were coming up with, you know, dealing with all of this stuff, plus paperwork, and you know, there's just a ton of stuff that comes up with somebody passing. So you know, I'm knocking on this thing, and she's like, what? And I said, we're gonna bury Grandpa in a filing cabinet. She starts laughing, I start laughing, and you know, because this is the one we chose. I think it was like $1,000 or $700. You know, like I could have gone down to Home Depot and gotten a cheaper filing cabinet and put Grandpa in there, and it would have been the same quality. Actually, probably a better quality, because I know some good filing cabinets, and they have, you know, anyway. But seriously, and then during the wake, which is where you go view the body and all that kind of stuff. First of all, this is gross, but funny. They're kind of gross. And bad taste too. Like, these people were so unprofessional, in my opinion. They left out the canister, so they do a whole bunch of stuff to make dead bodies look good, right? Dead bodies, a corpse. And one of them is they put this, like, it's like a putty paint, and it's like skin colored, you know. So, but it's like with a big brush, right? And so they left that out. Ew. And it had like hairs in it. It was really gross. I'm like, seriously? You know, like, really? You'd leave this out? This is like such bad taste. Anyway, so that was kind of funny to me, though. So I was laughing at the little spots along the way so that I could cope during this period that wasn't a very happy time of the grandfather's passing. So anyway, we're sitting there doing the wake. And I notice my grandfather is laid out in this, the metal filing cabinet coffin that I call it. And he was laid out in this, and, you know, all, you know, corpse light, and, you know, people go, oh, they look so good. And I always think that's the dumbest line you could ever say at a funeral. You know, it's like, they're dead. How do they look good? You know, like, they look good for being dead? Is that the qualifier? I don't know. But anyway, that's always, but I think people don't know what to say at funerals because it's a hard time. So, right. Hi, Jersey. Anyway, so I'm noticing, because we're sitting eye level with this, so we got the filing cabinet, the coffin, and then, you know, it's got the lid flipped open. My grandfather's laying in there and all that kind of stuff. But I noticed around the edge, because we're like eye to eye with this, that there's a good 1 inch gap between the lid that is closed over the bottom, and it goes all the way around. And I was like, what the heck is that? My mom spots it at the same time I do, and I look at it, and I look at her, and we look at the thing, and we look at each other, and then I look back at my mom, and I say, Grandpa's gonna be totally like worm food, like really quickly, because, you know, I'm like, and I told my mom, I said, for $10 they couldn't have just bought a seal to go around that, to seal that edge, so we don't have to see that there's a 1 inch gap. You know, I'm like, really? You know, so she's sitting there, and the funeral director's trying to give like a little service and stuff like that. My mom's sitting there like, and luckily, oh, there's Pet Cameo in the background, little cat running by. That's Capri. Capri, you want treats? I can bribe you. Treats. She does like her treats. Anyway, and she does a high five really good. She loves these treats. Anyway, so that was our way to get through the funeral. So with humor. So anyway, I know that's bad taste and a long story, but it just to show you that you can get through some stuff that's rough. I thank everybody for, you know, the condolences and the thoughts and the prayers for Caly, for our puppy that we just had to put down on Friday, and, you know, 2 years old, not the thing that, you know, nobody signs up for that, for the bad health issues and stuff like that. but she is at peace. I get to wear this little amethyst that I had gotten for her. I put that in her little thunder coat. Amethyst is supposed to be a healing stone, and I read about it, and I had just gotten this at the summer jamboree from a person that works with crystals, and so thank you so much. Oh, thank you. So Marcy just said, sorry, bless. So sorry, bless. So anyway, so you can have a memento of your pet, of your loved one, something that you carry as a talisman that helps make you stronger. So and one of the things that I try and remember is that it's not necessarily a loss, but gain, again, trying not to cry, of an angel spirit. So somebody looking out for you. So and I think Caly already sent an interesting little tidbit, because there's a little dog that came about that's also a rescue. All of our pets have been rescues, and it's little Timmy. So little Timmy looks interestingly like he could be the brother of Caly, of our little pup that passed. And so you never know, little Timmy might be coming into our lives. We'll see. Because I noticed the household got very quiet in here, and I don't know if it was that I was missing the chaos of taking care of something that needed me so much, but it's pretty quiet. Our dog, who's been sitting here the entire time, and she hasn't been making noise. If you followed me on other broadcasts, you've seen Mr. Brown, who is like a bouncy dog that I take care of every once in a while. Our neighbor's dog, Jen. Hi, Mr. Brown. Mr. Brown may be watching right now, too. And hi, Brown, if you are watching. Hi, Brownie Brown. Just saw him yesterday and had all the dogs out together and all that kind of good stuff. And anyway, hold them in your hearts and all that kind of good stuff. Oh, okay, I'm trying not to go over time, but I might go over time. This show is also, a side note, modeled on, not modeled on, but there was another show on that was called Hooping Live, and I used to watch it all the time, and Audrey Shearer did this show live on YouTube, and you could ask questions. It was an hour-long show. It was a really cool show. And then it disappeared, and without a trace, and I tried to contact her and see, because how I wanted to explain a little bit about how my show came about, and part of it was that of course I have a business. You want to get the business out there and stuff like that. I was doing tutorials anyway, free tutorials that I was putting up online, but trying to promote my business of Hip the Hoopla, of teaching, instructing, doing private instruction, performing at events, performing tomorrow, and making, I'm a hoopsmith. I call myself a hoopsmith. I should spell it Synthe, hoopsmith. Anyway, but I make professional custom hoops for people as well. But anyway, so I started doing Facebook Lives because it was a business challenge that had come up in one of my coaching groups. And so I started doing those, and I was very nervous to be on camera, extremely nervous. And they were horrible. In my opinion. They weren't too bad, but anyway, I was trying to get better at them and stuff like that. And then one of my coaches had suggested it, because she did it as well, doing a show. And I was like, and then I reached into my brain background and I went, oh yeah, not only of course I could do a show. And she's like, where you do a format. And I'm like, yeah, I totally do that, because I have done shows before. I have a degree in this. And so I was like, oh yeah, duh, this is right up my alley. And also not Hooping Live, but Hooping Idol brought this up in me when I competed in the worldwide competition with 21 contestants in Hooping Idol 7. And that I had to put together videos, edit them, do graphics, do the social media to promote them, get votes, all that kind of stuff. So, and I was like, I don't know any of this. And then I was like, oh yes I do. I have a degree in this. So yes, I did. So I knew what B-roll was, and I did know how to edit. I didn't know the current editing software, because I hadn't done that. But I had to learn. So much like this is all a learning process for me. So doing the two feeds, the live on Facebook and the live on YouTube, having it recorded, knowing how to do that, and title it, and try and do SEO so people can find it. I'm learning a little bit more about hashtags. I've been testing those out too. So anyway, yeah, the Hooping Idol and using my degree and doing this show and doing it weekly and consistently. This has been a really good test for me, not only to just kind of chronicle what I've been going through and try and help others with what I've been going through. So, like, you know, for instance, if you know about the skin cancer stuff, you know, if you've watched the past shows, and I made that announcement on the show. I did not know that I was going to do that. My dad was a little PO'd that I didn't call him first and tell him first in person. But that was a hard conversation to have. And precisely why I didn't have it. And I announced it to the world before I announced it to my, you know, my husband knew about it. But anyway, but you know, if you've been watching the show, you know about my journey with that, of getting big slicey out of my arm. Whoops, sorry. There goes my notes. That must be my sign that time needs to be shaved down here, much like how my arm was. So yeah, so this is like kind of like a little, I don't want to say a vlog, but a little bit sort of. But I try and recommend different things that are helpful to me, and maybe they might be helpful to you, and talk to you like you're a friend. You know, maybe I reach out and I touch somebody out there that, you know, maybe you just need a little bit of brightness in your day. You needed a little bit of hooping. You need maybe some health information hit that you might not have known about before. Like, for instance, a weird fact, like 1 in 5 people get skin cancer. And that's like melanoma, which is the worst kind that actually can be deadly. So just as a little side note, because I did say that I had 2 updates. One was about our little puppy Caly and her passing. But the other one was I went in last week for the 3-month skin checkup, right? So when you have skin cancer, then you have to go in for 3 months, every 3 months get checked, and then the next year it's every 6 months, and then the next year it's every year that you get skin checks, like full body checks. And so like they go through your hair and all kinds of stuff. Anyway, I had a suspicious mole, which was what this thing was last time, that turned out to be like, you know, the full-blown melanoma, which is the third of the, you know, they have like you know, not terrible, medium, terrible. Melanoma is the terrible. And of course you can have like different stages of that. I was not in a stage, and I didn't go through like chemo or radiation, nor would I, because quite honestly, I'm going to use a bad word, that shit ain't going to happen. Not with me. And it's not to say that there are, you know, there are other people. I actually know of another hooper that went through chemo for skin cancer. So please use sunblock, and use a good sunblock protection. So use one with zinc oxide or titanium dioxide. So use those good ingredients. They also have other sunscreen, and you know how they say always wear sunscreen? Watch what's in your sunscreen, because they have these other things that have a chemical reaction that acts on your skin. Those can actually be carcinogenic. Didn't know that before because I used to wear sunscreen. I'm not a sun bunny. I wear like long sleeves. Now I'm the hat lady with sunglasses and all kinds of stuff. I'm all covered up. I've got a gig out tomorrow that's going to be out in the sun. So so yeah, so that's my health information for you for today. Is if you're out in the sun, please get the sunblock, and you can get non-nano, which means it blends in a little bit better. And the zinc, there are different brands, and some of them you put on your skin, it's kind of white. So you know, remember when you used to see the lifeguards at the pool, and they had like they had zinc on their nose, and so they have this like white splotch on their noses so they don't get blasted. Why they don't have that all over, I don't know, but you know, lifeguards are known for that, with a white nose. So, but they actually have they've come a long way in developing a lot of stuff that's really helpful and protective for your skin. So yeah, so we've got messages coming in on all the devices. And anyway, So that's the health bit for today. Going a little bit overtime. And also, Audrey, one of the reasons why I want to keep to the time schedule as best as possible, like my ideal for the show is to get it a half an hour or under, because at the time point that I put it in, if she comes back and does her show, she does hers at 9 p.m. Eastern time, which is 7 p.m. our time. So I want to be out and wrapped up before she starts her show so that we're not overlapping and that people can watch both shows if they like. So, because I always want to be respectful for that. She hasn't been on for a long time. I don't know when she's going to pop back up again. So, I don't think she's doing a show tonight. So, anyway, again, I'm going over time, but I just wanted to finish up a little bit here. So, yeah. Amethyst, Sunblock. Those are my recommendations for today. Oh, also I had a couple of funny quotes, and one is from me. Life is like a roller coaster. Once you sit down and lock in, you're in for all of it. The fun, the scared, the exhilarated, and the upchuck. So, again, I like to do funny. So, and I'll put these in, if you ever want to, like, see these, I have them in on the show notes on the YouTube and on my website, on the Hip the Hoopla website. So, www.hipthehoopla.com. So, visit that. There's a free gift there if you want to sign up for the email list. One of these days I will get some emails out and get people aware of even the show and more stuff like that. I'm still getting my practice. But my goal is to get 50 of these shows done this year. So this is a really huge goal for me. So I'm missing a couple, so I'm going to have to make some up. And I have like these 5 extras that are going to be in there to make up my 50. Because I also started this in February as well. So, yeah. Oh, and the other funny quote, sometimes I wear a funny t-shirt and stuff like that, except that I realize my closet's getting ridiculous with funny t-shirts now. So I will just, bring up fun sayings and stuff like that. Like, this is one. Whoops, sorry. I bumped everything. Laugh often. This is one of my mottos in life. So laugh whenever you can, right? And we'll do a little laughter yoga exercise as well. And also, so the t-shirt that I have that actually still is in my closet, I can't bear to part with it. I had gotten it from a flight show, and it says, sit down, strap in, shut up. My dad's a pilot, and this is pretty funny. So you get in the cockpit, you sit down. So this isn't like a commercial plane. This is like something that, so you get in, you sit in before they close the canopy on you. And strapping in is not just a seat belt. It's a parachute. Like, literally, you have a harness that goes over you. You have a parachute strapped to your back. So if they have to eject the canopy, you pull a D-ring, and that S is serious, right? So so sit down, strap in, shut up. So you're not supposed to be noisy because the pilot needs to talk on the radio and stuff like that. So you don't want to get chatty because, like, everybody in the airspace can hear it. So, like, you're like, I think I'm going to throw up now. Every pilot around the area can hear that. So anyway, that's a part of my funny for the day. Okay, we're going to get hooping. I wanted to show you a vortex. And also I want to, we'll go out on the laughter yoga exercise now. Okay, Shiva, I'm going to back up here. So I'm going to try not to hit you with the hoop, but you might go running. Would you like a treat since you're going to get up anyway? I'm going to hoop. You want a treat? Can we see you on camera? She's just sitting down here going, no. Come here. Come. Come here, sweetie. There you go. Can you high five? High five. High five. And she's like, oh, that's good. That's good. I don't know if you can see. Oh, we got part of that in there, at least in one of the cameras in the YouTube feed. All right. We'll give you another one just because that was so good. All right, never mind. So, hi, Vicky. Welcome. So, thanks for joining. Anyway, okay, so here's the hooping part of the show. I'm wearing all my bright neon colors, which is like blasting on the YouTube camera here. So so Vortex, what the Vortex is let me see if I can get it with a little hoop here, is coming up and down with this and placing the hoop back up and down. So a prerequisite for this move is to have this back lift off. So if you don't already have this, I'll give you some quick tips on this, but I have covered this before, but I can cover this again in a future show if you're interested. But basically what you're doing is you're taking the hand small at the back, waiting for it to roll over, and you're going to use the hand. So like for instance, I'm hooping to the right, so I'm going clockwise with my hoop. So I'm going that way, so I'm going to use my left hand. If I'm going in the other direction, I would use my right hand if I go counterclockwise. So I'm going clockwise with this. I'm going to take my hand in here, and then I'm going to pull this up really fast. That's the back lift off. So part of the trick of that is you want to keep this hand glued to the body. The other part of this is you want to, when you grab the hoop, you're going to whip this up really fast. And also another really helpful trick is to turn in the direction that the hoop is spinning. That way, and you have to do, I can't stress how fast you have to do this. This has to whip right up there, because if you don't, you have what I call hoop ED or hoop droop. So you know what ED is for the adults in the audience. So so instead of the hoop doing this, it goes whoop. But also when you're doing this vortex move, you either smack yourself with your arm or you smack yourself with the hoop in your head. So that's what happens when you go a little too slow, or you take the arm and go out with it and you don't keep this attached to the body. You smack yourself right there. Okay, I was trying to demonstrate and I really seriously smacked myself. So again, the humor part of it, hoop ED, yes, right? So Marcy's just laughing at that. All right, so we're going to stick the hand in the back. And again, this has to go fast. I have to go fast with this. Also, this is a smaller, lighter hoop, so it travels faster. So I'm going to stick my hand in the back, grab, pull this up, and bring this up into the air. Now, once this is up in the air, I'm going to change from an inside grip. As this comes up, I'm going to let this rotate around and let that rotate around the hand to another inside grip, and that will help bring that up. And then I'm going to take the other hand, thumb to thumb, and then bring this back down. There's your vortex part. And when you bring this back down, you're bringing this back down, and you're placing it on the body with a twist. So, how I like to teach this in class is think of an X pattern, and when you're doing the first lift off, you're doing this part of the X, and when you're bringing it back down, you're doing the other part of the X. But also do this while turning. So it's not going to actually cross or anything like that. So it's just going to be up and then down. So again, I'm going to do that in slow-mo, but I'm only doing it from, let's hear. So you're going to go up and then down. Again, up, down. So when you're doing this from the back, so when you have this going, it just has to go fast, right? So I'm going to hoop clockwise, stick the hand in, grab this up, and then bring it back down. So again, that is up, back down. You can also do this as a continual hoop move. So you can go up, down, up, down, up, down. So again, see how I didn't get quick enough on this, and I'm about to smack myself in the head. So, and then I have hoop ED. So this is where people have a problem with this, because once the hoop does this, you're lost in space and you don't know which way to go. And you're like, what do I do with my hands, and how do I get to, you want to try and keep this hoop as parallel to the ground as possible. So that's one of the tricks. So you have to keep it moving. So if you turn in the direction of the hoop, that's going to slow this down a little bit so you don't have to go so fast. But again, here, whip this up, whip it good, and then grab with the other hand, thumb to thumb, and then bring it back down. Hi, kitty. You want a treat? Capri. Yeah. You want a treat? So let's see if I can get her to do a high five. She does that. So I've taught all the pets, including the cat, how to do tricks. Come here, kitty. You want a high five? She's got to know that I have the good treats for her. Oh, yeah. She's got tiger. Oh, yeah. Y'all hear that? Okay. I'm going to put you on the chair so people can see you. Okay. Yeah. All right. Let's try this. Oh, yeah, there we go. She's got the high five going here. Okay, you can lean up against me. High five. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Ay. Oh, you got me caught. There we go. Okay. One more time. High five. High five. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay. She just loves these treats. Okay, let's see if I can get her to do a kiss without biting my nose off. Since I have the treats she likes. Give me a kiss. Be nice. Kiss. Good. Okay. So yes, you can teach cats tricks. They do like tricks. Can you go in a circle? Can you not claw me? We don't know that one. Go in a circle. Let go. Ow! Circle, 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 circle. You almost have it. There you go. There you go. I know I gave you a small space to work with. Okay. Okay. She really likes these treats. When I give her other treats, she doesn't do that. But anyway. Okay, we're good. We're good. All right. So today we learned the Vortex. We learned about sunscreen. We learned about animals. We learned about laughing about death. Not that you're laughing. Ow. Oh, right. That's enough. So, she's a little tigress now. Now I'm just going to move you out of the way, kitty. There goes the kitty cameo for the day. So, lots of things. And hopefully you've enjoyed this and you've gotten some good information out of this. Whether it be about skin cancer, humor, whatever, pet cameos, whatever you enjoy. Let's see if I can bring her up. If she just will, like, just do a fun pet cameo. This is one of the things that Audrey does too. She has, or I don't know what her situation is now, but she had a cat that would be a beautiful little kitty that she'd have on camera and stuff like that. I leave my office door open so that they can wander in and stuff like that. Yeah. You want to say hi to everybody? Hi. This is Capri. She's like, no, I want to bite you now. She's not a bitey type, but since I have treats on my fingers, so she's like wants to bite my fingers now. Anyway, alrighty, thank you so much for being here. I really appreciate it. Oh, let's see here. Let me scroll down on comments here. I didn't see that this didn't automatically scroll. Oh, thank you. Okay, so appreciate y'all being here. Thank you for watching the recording if you're watching it on recording. So rock on, peace out. Kitty says bye too. All right, take care, everybody. We'll see you next week at on Monday night at 6:30 p.m. And then if we have, thank you so much. Marcy said, bravo, and have fun tomorrow at your performance. I appreciate that. Yeah. So I've got a two-hour gig. It'll be hooping out in the sun and teaching people to hoop and stuff like that. It's a corporate gig. That should be fun. And the people that are hiring me, actually a friend of mine, one of my hoop students actually, and it's her catering company. They're putting on an event, so I'm very excited about that. It'll be in downtown Denver, and I'm going to haul a whole bunch of hoops and all that kind of good stuff. So, and I'll even have some new custom ones. This one is a custom for one of my students. Isn't this gorgeous? And it's really pretty with a silver rainbow sheen and a plum gaffer. This is on 1/2-inch PE tubing, which is nice. So it gives this nice little spiral look, so you can do these really cool isolations and stuff like that. It looks really fun. Anyway, so thank you so much for being here. The cat's like, feed me now. So I better go do that. All right. Thank you so much for being here. Go hit the like, follow, subscribe, all that kind of good stuff. I'm also and also share this if you can, please. I'm trying to bump up my YouTube subscribers because they have a YouTube partnership program, and so they've upped the ante on it. You have to do consistent work, and I've been putting out consistent shows like every week. If I do come up on a Monday that's a holiday, I will broadcast the show earlier. And again, I'm going to put in a couple of extra shows as well. And I'm also going to be trying to bring in some special guests. I already had one special guest in, Ann Humphreys. Woo! Go find that show. That was a longer show. It's an hour long, but it was really fabulous. So, yeah, you learn new stuff on each one of these. So thank you so much for being here. Rock on. Peace out. All right. Bye.